Hello everyone, welcome to the podcast. Today we have a interesting chat with a fellow over in the United States. We get into some interesting discussions, not much more to be said. Let's get into it.
Australia, people are pretty mellow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in Australia, if you no one really cares that much. It's sort of
Yeah.
like there's all those Twitter people that like really care, but it's like the one
Right.
percent.
Hmm.
And in the real world, you're not going to be judged. So, like, if on the US map of states, right? So obviously you have
Yeah.
way more states than us, even though we're the kind of the same size. Like
Yeah.
my state, New South Wales, which is where Sydney is, would probably have it'd take up probably California to Colorado in size.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And we have like 10 times less people than you. But
That's probably because all of the death traps in Australia.
well, I don't know what you mean by death traps. If you mean by death traps like the wildlife is not really much of an issue. Like you get an occasional snake, or there's a spider in my room right now, but he's chilling. And there's
Okay. Okay. So if you look at like the list of the most toxic and deadly uh animals in the world, I guarantee
oh
at
yeah, most of
least
them are Australian, yeah. But
yeah.
that's part of the that's part of what we go for, you know. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
most of the climate in the middle of the so like from Colorado to Indiana,
Uh,
um, would probably be like 2% of the population would live in that area.
yeah. Yeah. So, at, if you've ever seen a population map of the U.S., it distributes like most other countries where you have a lot of cities and people on the coasts.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Is Dallas on the coast, or is it like close to the coast?
let me look at it. I know Austin is more central. Hold on. I thought Dallas was close to the coast. Let me
That's
look at a
like
map.
wait, is Austin or Dallas more populated? Because Austin's the capital, right? Or is Dallas the capital?
Austin's the capital, but
Yeah, okay.
Dallas is a big no. Dallas is more central. Dallas is central.
Right. And then
Houston,
oh, because they
Houston
launched
is
the
more
rockets
towards
from
the coast.
Houston. That would make sense why it's near the water.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. No, so it's really weird. You would think that the capital cities are going to be the most populous, but it's actually not true for a lot of states. So, like for Kentucky, the capital is Frankfurt, but it is um it's nothing compared to Louisville or Lexington. Those are the most populous cities in Kentucky, and then Frankfurt's kind of just like an afterthought. No one really wants to go there for anything. Um,
Yeah, right. So
but
even though
but
you're like more conservative, like is Pennsylvania and New York, they're kind of like left wing, right? Sort of areas, aren't they?
yeah, yeah, I
And
would
you're
say
fairly close to those sort of people. But I guess like each state is kind of its own country, really, eh?
a little bit, yeah, because they have like if you look at laws, they can be drastically different. Of course, you have the federal government. Um, uh, kind of keeping track of everybody, and then some states are like, well, we're going to succeed from the union, we want to be our own country, but that's probably never going to happen.
Well, actually, so we have a state called Western Australia, right? And if you take
Uh,
the right side border of New Mexico and go all the way up to the right side border of Montana, and go all the way
mhm.
to the left, that's the size of the state. It's
Holy shit.
yeah, it's New South Wales' biggest state. I mean, Australia's biggest state. Um, we only we only have seven though. I think seven.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Most
Six
people, it's
states
their
and
goal
two
to.
territories.
But see, what's the difference between a state and a territory?
So, um, we have. Wait, what do you? Um, I'll answer this like after I ask this. So, what do
Yeah,
you guys like? You have American Indians, right? What? How do you guys treat
yeah,
them?
yeah. So the government is, I mean, they have just honestly shit on them right and left, like for as long as we've been here. And
Yeah,
so,
right.
um, they have reservations, and those reservations kind of have like their own, uh, like mini governments. So they handle their own in the reservations. But what's happened is like over time, like their land has gotten smaller and smaller because, you know, there's resources that the U.S. government has wanted, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
um, I would say that Native Americans here, like they, I mean, let's see if a Native American went to Eastern Tennessee
Yep.
and went into like a Walmart or something, and you know it's crazy because like this is like the land that their ancestors lived on and like spent generations on, but it's like now like they would be
Looked
they
down
they
upon.
would face a lot of racism. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
right. Right, okay. See, Australia used to be like that because we have Aboriginals as well, right? Um,
Right.
uh, Australia used to be like that, but that was like 70 years ago. Like we've been sort of reconciling with them. Like
Yeah.
when you so when you give like uh public like speeches or anything, you don't have to like um you don't have to acknowledge traditional owners of any land, right? You don't have to acknowledge
Yeah.
that they uh they were there before you. You don't have to.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Right. So in Australia, like if you were to give any sort of public sort of thing, you'd have to say like we acknowledge that the land we're standing on was first the Aboriginals and wasn't ours. So
That's
it didn't used to be like that. There used to be a lot of racism, like similar to what you're saying, but
yeah.
it's definitely gotten much better.
I think that if there was to be something like that in the United States, people would flip out. I really do.
You reckon?
Um,
Well, I know a lot of your southern states might be quite against that. You reckon? Do you think that'd be
I
sort of a
I
left wing thing that people would be more for?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
no, because I've seen speeches where people do that and people get angry over it. I
Right.
personally don't really have a lot of feelings toward it, but I'm sure like for Native American people, like that's I mean, it might make them feel good, and if it makes them feel good, why wouldn't we want to, you know, do that if we're trying to like come together?
Yeah. Well, like
But
at our current point in Australia,
yeah,
like it probably would have been a better approach to it would have been better because now it's sort of like even the even like conservative sort of people are catching onto it, and like if you don't do it now, like acknowledge all these Aboriginal people, then you're sort
yeah,
of getting it's sort of like uh looked down upon to not do it, right?
Huh.
So
Yeah.
it's sort of made this sort of it's made a bit of it's a bit like gaslighting even.
Sure.
Because if you get caught out not saying it, then you could be in like
Yeah.
some trouble.
Interesting. Yeah. It's more social pressure, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Um.
Anyway, you wanted to know what a territory is. So we have
Yeah.
um, our capital state with Canberra is
Yeah.
where all the parliament is, and that's a territory. It's like very, very small. It's probably the size of New Hampshire, right?
Mm. Okay. I see.
Um, so we have that, and then also this is what I was talking about, the Aboriginal people. So our
Yeah.
one other territory is called the Northern Territory. It's basically from, say, the right side border of Montana down to Nebraska and over to Indiana and up again.
Okay.
And
Are
that's
you looking at
where.
a map, or you just really know your
No,
U.S.
no, I'm looking at a
geography?
map. I'm looking at a map.
Okay. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
uh, so, yeah, I just thought it'd be easy if I gave you your own sort of
Oh no,
outline.
you're good. Yeah.
So that sort of area there is where like a large percentage of our Aboriginal population is. And the difference between a
Okay.
state and a territory is a territory can't impose its own laws. So we have state governments. I don't know if you have that. Do you have like state
Yeah, we
things?
do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So um, most of the places, so all of our states have their own state governments that can do that.
Yeah.
And the territories can't govern themselves. They need like federal permission to do stuff.
Mm.
So that's the
Okay.
difference.
Gotcha.
But we only
Gotcha.
have 6 states, and like they're all really massive. So if I wanted to go to the so on the east coast, there's only 3 states, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the three, and if I wanted to
Okay.
go to the northern state, it'd take me more than a day. It'd take me more
That's
than
a
a day
lot.
to get to the northern state, and like uh, probably another day to get to the southern state.
I'm looking at a U.S. and Australia size comparison. Wow.
They're
Okay.
very similar from what I know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm looking, if you look at a map of Australia, um, covering the US, they're very similar size. See, what most people don't realize is because like the way that a a
The globe works, yeah.
flat planar, yeah,
Yeah,
map,
yeah.
like the way that that is spaced out and sized versus like a globe, they think that, oh, well, the US on a map is way bigger than Australia, but when you look at it on a globe, they're actually the same size.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's
Which,
fascinating. It probably makes more sense to divide the states the way you guys have, because like the way that your states are sort of their own countries, it's even more like exploded here. Like for example, Western Australia, which is our largest state, covers the entire west coast and
yeah,
is it's locked off all travel. So like New South Wales, where I am, has
yeah.
we're open to travel, but WA has been closed for like 3 years for travel. They've become their own country basically.
Holy
Uh,
crap. So how okay, let me preface this by saying I have seen a lot of videos online of people in Australia like they leave their houses and like the police will track them down. Is that true? Like, does that happen?
If you're a criminal, yeah, but not otherwise. That's
But
not a
like for
normal thing.
COVID, for COVID,
Oh, no. So if you leave your house with COVID, yeah, you'll get arrested.
that's wow.
Yeah, so
I
we have
see. Like,
strict stay-at-home orders.
gotcha. So it's like if you're sick with COVID, like if you've tested positive.
Yeah, that's right. So if you've tested positive and you're just walking around, you're not allowed to do that.
Huh. See, I mean, yeah, I agree with like if you know
The
that you
US
have
has
COVID
that,
and you're
don't they?
walking
Or
around.
do they not?
No, no,
Oh,
you can go
well,
out.
even if you get COVID, you can walk around. No wonder you have an explosion in cases. That's outrageous.
I know. I think I thought that I had COVID over Christmas, but I wasn't sure because my friend tested positive. But I just stayed at home. But it's like I know people who know that they've been exposed to COVID and will go do stuff anyway.
Oh,
It's
right.
nuts. It's
Yeah,
really dumb.
that's ridiculous.
It's,
I can't believe
but
that that's
yeah,
the thing that they allow.
the U.S. government. I would just say that from the very little that I know about the Australian government, if the US government operated like that, people would not have it. Like,
Yeah, I
uh,
can imagine it'd be. Yeah, you seem to be. Well, like everyone, we're a rowdy bunch down here, but we'll follow the rules if it makes a logical sense.
it's like, why? Yeah, why wouldn't you do the things that make sense? Oh, well, because it's my right. Well, it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's your right to be stupid, but why are you being, you don't have to be, you know?
Oh, I was when you said right, my I got reminded of the fact that you guys have gun laws up there.
Oh, dude, I've been thinking about that. I wanted to bring that up for the past like 30 minutes because I know
Yeah, right.
Australia does.
No, so if you go through this rigorous process of getting permits or stuff,
Okay.
you can buy like a revolver or a handgun, but you can't own any more than
Okay.
that. If you're if you're ex-military and you go through
Yeah.
rigorous processes, that's the only way you can obtain like the a rifle. Obviously, we don't have automatic rifles,
Yeah.
but to get a semi-automatic rifle, the only way you can do that is to have operated one in the military before and
Mm,
apply to get one at home.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
how do your laws work? Because I imagine I've seen Bowling for Columbine. I don't know if you've seen
Oh
that.
yeah.
Oh, you have?
The is it a Columbine documentary?
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen a Columbine documentary. I don't know if it was that one, but
Anyway, it's about
um
it's probably very similar. I just saw
yeah.
how those kids were able to like go down the road and in like 20 minutes walk out of a shop with like a rifle. Like how does that not set off any sort of red flag?
I I honestly could not tell you. So I see myself in the future. I definitely want a handgun for self-defense.
Well, I mean, at
Um
this point, with the number of guns that people in the US own, like I would support you in that. It just makes sense to
yeah,
keep.
yeah. If I were worried, see, home invasion is a big thing too, and
Right.
you
We
know,
have home
if
invasion,
some,
but almost never with guns.
yeah,
It's just so
yeah,
hard to obtain a firearm that, like, if your home gets invaded, it'll it'll be with like a lead pipe or something.
yeah. The thing is, if someone's invading my house, like invading like my life and threatening my life,
Yeah,
I
right.
I'm not going to be, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but you know, I'm going to use deadly force until I know that the threat is neutralized. And
Oh no, I think that makes sense. I would
yeah,
agree with that. Like,
yeah.
if your life is literally in danger, then it just makes sense
Right,
to do that.
right. And so the best way to do that is with a firearm. Now, that's a really reductive argument. That is,
That
that is
is
not enough.
that is the most American thing I've heard. The
I
best
know,
way to
and I
do that is
realized
with a
that.
firearm.
I realized that it is the most American statement, and so it doesn't take into account all of the variability of the situation. But in terms of in very simplistic terms, you know, if someone is threatening my life, I want to make sure that I have the best defenses. Because I mean, shit, dude, I'm 5'6". Like I go to the gym, but if there's someone who is 6'5", or more commonly 6'2" or 6'1",
Yeah.
and they're able to overpower me like that, shit, like I'm gonna go for the gun,
Yeah,
and
that
in
makes sense. Like, a gun is a good way at stopping people from attacking you.
but
It would
at the
it would make
same
more sense
thing,
if no one had them at all. It'd make more sense.
it would make sense. And the sad thing is that people are dumb, and they're gonna be dumb, like they're gonna be stupid, and they cannot be trusted with guns. It's kind of uh, like taking a knife away from a toddler because they can't be trusted with it, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But but yeah, no, I have mixed feelings on it for sure. But I don't know. I know that in Australia, like that's like guns are not a huge issue.
Oh no,
But here,
we have like you'll occasionally on the news hear about shootings, but that's like
yeah.
once a month even. Like, it's such a dead issue that no one really even worries about.
So have let me ask you this. This is going to be a really weird question,
Oh,
but
I'm don't care. Fire away. I'm very interested.
so do you ever have like the fear, like say you're walking down a street and you get this weird fear of like a car driving by, and you're like, oh my god, what if they shoot me? Or if you're walking down a street and be like, oh my god, what if I get shot? Or like dark at night, like have you ever had that?
I have never once had that fear in my life, and I walk at night like often enough with like no one
Yeah.
else around.
So
And
I get that. I get
well, I
that.
can
Like,
imagine why. Like, you have reason to worry.
yeah. So it's like sometimes I think about like that's really fucked up. Like that is fucked up, dude. To have that.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
it's there's absolutely zero stigma here that that would ever be a pressing issue you should worry about.
right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
just so tame that, like, I would be more worried about like someone walking toward me on a like in the middle of the night than someone driving past.
Yeah. I think it's like the drive-by shootings. Like people will like have
Yeah, right.
um semi-autos or whatever, Uzis or anything like where they
Wait,
just they
so
just
the Uzis you buy? I know you can, but they use them in Columbine, right? Are they
I think
automatic?
so. I think they can be very easily modified. I'm not entirely sure.
Ah, that is outrageous that they allow that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's because like um with U.S. history. I mean, the fact that we're a country built off of a rebellion against a republic, and we founded our new government, and then that new government, because they overthrew the government with like firepower. So
Yeah, right.
that's why they have those lax gun laws, and that's why it's always going to be a huge issue in the United States, always.
Well,
And
I know it's the Second Amendment, right?
yeah, the right
Yeah,
to bear arms.
yeah. Well, I don't. Is there even a way that that is able to be changed, or is it just so far down the rabbit hole that it's gonna have to stay like that forever?
I don't know. That's a really great question. Like some people they're like, oh well, the founding fathers knew what they were talking about, but it's like, do you think that the founding fathers could have looked to the future and realized that, like, do you think that the founding fathers knew what mental health was, and that people with schizophrenia, like, existed, and we're going to be able to get a hold of guns, and like,
Yeah,
it's
right.
yeah.
Yeah, wow. Well,
Yeah.
you're another thing I just thought of was like you have a you have a you have a course called the U.S. history. Uh,
Yeah.
we don't have an Australian history course. The only sort of
Really?
history we even have is just the gold rush. But other than that, like we just do history of other countries. So
So
do you have like a world history and a US history course?
yeah, so in college I took World History 1, but World History 2 was more modern politics and stuff. But
Okay.
I did not take that World History 2. I mean, with my Chinese major, I was like discussing like politics anyway, like in my Chinese classes. And so um and like business and stuff like that. So I know a little bit about like international whatevers. Um, but I would say for the most part, uh, most people are not really aware of of the history outside of their state even.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. So
it's it's pretty bad.
so when you were like going through school, did you just stay in Kentucky the whole time
No,
other than
so
going to China?
I yeah, so I did a summer program at it's Indiana University. I
Right.
did a summer program there. So I after my first year, when then they call it freshman year. After my freshman year, I did a summer program at Indiana University, and then I had my sophomore year, which is second year, and then after that, I did the scholarship in China, and then the year after that, I was taking the MCAT, which is the test that you take to get into medical school.
Yeah,
And
right.
the reason why I took it at third year is because the process to apply to medical school is a year long, and so
Wow. Yeah, in
yeah,
Australia
so
you
I
go from university to medicine in about 3 months.
yeah, it's well, the thing is, the reason why I did it after that my junior year, which is my third year. The reason why I did it after my third year was so that I could get like start right away um, after college, like after I graduated.
Yeah, no, that's smart then, yeah. Because you don't want to just be lying around for a year.
Most people like so if people don't get in, they will take a gap year, which is fine. Just you have to make sure you're doing something productive towards your application so that you have a better chance of getting in. Actually, most I have friends in medical school that are 25, 26, some are in their 30s. you know?
Because they've
So
been
it's,
waiting so long to see if they can get in.
or they realized that they wanted to go to medical school later.
Oh, right,
Um,
yeah, okay. How's
yeah, so
the
it's
process of
either or.
transferring? Is it because at our
You can't
universities,
transfer in medical school.
can you transfer into medicine though?
Um, like, what
Because
do you
at
mean by
well,
transfer?
okay, maybe you don't have it, but at our universities,
Uh
um,
huh.
say I did a length of time doing engineering, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I wasn't a big fan of that. But say I got like a a 95% score on my like
Hmm.
s- two first semesters, like the
Yeah.
first two semesters I take, say I got 95, that would be a high enough mark that I could transfer from my engineering degree into a medical degree if I wanted
Okay, I
to.
see. I see. So, actually, you can transfer um, whenever. Like, you can transfer into any major in college that you want to, maybe not regardless of your GPA. I'm sure there's like a minimum, like grade point average that they would not allow you to um, they would not allow you to like transfer or continue studying because they do put people on academic probation. But
Right.
so I could have become like a music major if I wanted to. I could have become, a history major, political science major, and I could switch at any time. The big thing is that medical school, like if you're wanting to go to medical school, like halfway between, like your GPA is going to matter. I don't know if y'all use GPA. Do you?
No, I was actually going to ask about that. So, like, it's out of five, right?
It's out of four. So
Oh,
you
it's out of
have
four. Okay. So
mhm.
if you have
So you have A, B, C,
4.0,
D.
you're like top of your class.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
I had a 4.0 in everything except my science courses, which I know is worrying because I'm going to become a doctor or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But
That is
no, I know what I'm doing now.
fair enough,
I
fair enough.
scored. Yeah, we just got a test back. It's probably the hardest test we've taken in medical school, and a lot of people failed it, but I got like high B's in it, so I'm pretty happy
Solid work.
with that. But no, so I finished college with a 3.6 out
Okay.
of four. So
Wait, so if I do say I don't know, GPA conversion Australia. So here it's telling me that an A is a GPA of
mhm.
5. So I is that's not right, is it?
um, so it let's see.
So is the GPA out of
It
5 or 4?
it's out of four. Um, it's out of four,
Oh, I
but
see. So like an A plus, I have it here. So 95 to
okay.
100 is a 4.0. Is that sound right?
It depends on the university because some
Okay.
universities do it like A plus is like 95 to 100, so that's a 4.0. Some universities do it where a 90 to 100 is 4.0. So it just depends on what college you're going to.
Right, so some are more lenient.
Yeah, I
Or they
would I
like
would
give
say
you
that's more
a
lenient.
better chance of getting in.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So
um,
if I took this would say that
mhm.
my GPA would be between 3.5 and 3.75.
Yeah. So we're about the same.
Yeah, well,
And with
solid
engineering,
work.
engineering, I that's yeah, yeah. We're making it, man. But in medical school, I have a GPA of 3.15 because it's so damn hard, dude. It is so hard.
Yeah, well, what can you do? You
Yeah,
keep it in there.
yeah,
It's on. What? How
yeah,
long
man.
do you have left?
I have 3.5 years left of school, and
That's
then
like
I have at
nothing,
least.
really.
Well, yeah, considering I've already gone 4 years out of high school, and the last 6 months have flown by for sure. Um, but yeah, it only gets harder from here, they say.
Right.
Uh,
I'm sure that's very assuring for you.
oh yeah, so you're engineering. You've studied your physics, right?
Yep.
So right now, the lectures we're going over is for electrocardiology, and it's like I haven't had physics in 2 years. Yeah, 2 years, and it's like we're talking about vectors from electrical currents produced by the heart, and then like summation of those vectors in one direction, and then it's like how different like electrical leads for an electrocardiogram will pick up those electrical impulses, and based off like if it's a negative whatever going in a different direction toward a lead like it's positive, it's like holy like shit, like it's I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds
I,
pretty full on.
it's literally, I mean, I would define it as electrical engineering almost. I've never been an
Yeah,
electrical
right.
engineer, but damn, this sounds like it.
Well, you'll be well versed when you get out.
Yeah, I hope so. But
Um, I'm on break right now, so I didn't
oh,
realize the
really?
breaks were different between. I guess you have a really long summer break, and it's winter for you now. So I'm on summer break.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I actually go
So,
back
um,
tomorrow. So
really
yeah.
nice. So, oh my God, yeah, that man, that really. So December is summer, January summer for you guys,
Well, today's it's the 26th. It's the 27th for me,
dude.
but 26th for you.
That's crazy. Like, because July is our June, July is our summer.
So I know. Well, I've heard that you're like when you have summer break. How many weeks is that break? Because I hear it's like by far
So
your longest break of the year, right?
yeah, so in college it was about 2.5 months. In medical school, it's 8 weeks. Um,
8 weeks. Yeah,
and for
so that's
Chris for
similar to what we get. We get 8 weeks as well.
oh yeah, but in college, winter break was like 6 weeks, but in medical school it's only two. So
Oh wow.
um, yeah, so I went back to school January 3rd. So we've been in it
Oh, so you
for
basically
about.
only got the Christmas and New Year off, and that was it.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I just thought of that. You guys got to watch the ball drop in the freezing cold. Oh, that must suck.
Some people do. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Um.
Yeah, I
Oh
think
man.
a summer Christmas New Year is the way to go.
Yeah.
There's snow and
Yeah.
whatnot, but the beach is better.
You can't beat the beach. I kind of enjoy the snow. Like. Um.
I like the snow. Well, it doesn't snow here, but um,
Right.
there's like
Have you ever gone
one.
skiing?
Yeah, so we have like one mountain range in Australia that's tall enough to get snow.
Okay.
You really have to go up high. So we have about we have like a couple of ski resorts and that's it. And I've gone to
Okay.
Japan to ski though, and that
Oh
was
shit!
way better.
Nice.
Um, yes, but the skiing. If you're looking to come to Australia, don't come to Australia to do the skiing. It's very, very average.
I would come to Australia to see the wildlife.
Oh yeah. I think some people get scared away by the wildlife. They get a bit worried about it. It's
Yeah,
strange though because like I've obviously lived here my whole life and
right.
I've been chill. Like you see a spider. I told you there's a spider in my room right now, but it's fine. I'm just chilling out. Like we don't have any jumping spiders, so
Yeah,
they're very predictable if you need to get them out. So even though they're like really dangerous, if you need to get them out, it's pretty easy.
yeah.
The jumping spiders are the real issue. Because our spiders, if they're on the wall, they'll stay on the wall. They won't jump out at you.
If there was a spider that could fly, I would not be surprised if it were from Australia. But what was I gonna say? Oh, man, I miss that one guy, our friend from the other game. He should have dropped his Discord.
Oh well, what can you do? He was too scared to come along.
I was really just chilling. I didn't give a fuck.
Oh no, I'm sure he would have
It's just
ruined
all
it
fun and
anyway.
games.
We're having a good convo here.
Yeah, man. Come on, it's just chill. I will. Okay, so that was your first time playing this game.
That was my first match.
Okay, so that is like it is one of the it actually is one of the douchiest moves in the game to block someone's road. So it's like people will take actual offense to that. And so after the second one, I was like, okay, this guy, all right, whatever. So I was definitely I was admittedly a little salty, but then it just became really fun with the
All the
with the
trash
roasting,
talk.
the trash talk.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I'm
What's
glad
your
you're
what's your
chill,
name by the way?
Luke.
Luke, nice to meet you. I'm Steven.
Steven. That's a nice name. That when I
Yeah.
think of that, I think of like an American person. It's a very American name.
Yeah. It
Steven is a
is. I
cool
had
name though.
so
I
yeah,
don't know any
I
Stevens
know
here.
I know so many Stevens, dude. It's kind of ridiculous. It's the whitest name out there, I think. Um, but um, so my last name is Scott, and my
That is a
I
very
actually
white
have.
name.
I know, I know. So I'm Scottish and German, and so Scott came from like my ancestors that
Right.
immigrated to America. So it's probably the whitest name you'll come across
You know what's
besides
good
John
about that
Smith or
name
something
though?
like that.
That's a name where it's like you can tell anyone and they'd never find you. Like if I told you my surname, there's only like three people in the world with that surname.
Dude, I'm watching these players. This video is high flying marks from the AFL season, and these guys are jumping like 3 or 4 feet in the air,
Yeah.
and they land like there's four other players jumping the same height for the ball, and then they smack into each other, and then they land like on their chest or their back. And I'm just like, how do you guys? It just seems like you would be getting injured so much, but yeah, like you said,
There
maybe
is a
not more
couple
than
of
any other game.
injuries you get. Oh, you know what I just thought? What's it like?
What's that?
You have Hawaii as a state, right?
Yeah.
How do you possibly like manage a state that's like I don't know how far away it is, but like hundreds of kilometers.
So, yeah, you're lucky. You're talking to American that's taken physics and science and all that, because no one else here would be like, kilometers? What the fuck are you talking about? Because we mostly use like miles and feet
Yeah,
here.
right,
But
right.
anyway, uh, it's just funny. But so Hawaii, I mean, they don't produce a lot. They most of their economy comes from tourism.
Yeah, well, I've been to
And
Hawaii, so
okay. So have you been to like the States?
I've been to California and uh, Illinois.
Okay. Wait, why were? Oh, did you go to Chicago?
Yeah, yeah.
You must have flown through O'Hare, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
I was there for a wedding, yeah.
okay. Wait, so do you have family in the States, or was it like a friend's wedding?
Family friends, yeah.
Okay. Um.
They're I don't know
So
where they are now, but they got married in Chicago.
no, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I would say those are two great places to really cool places to go. Though Chicago has the highest murder rates with guns.
Yeah. I
It's
did
something
find that
funny
out
about
on the way
Chicago is
there.
that they that's the worst. You'd be like, okay, I guess I'm fucked. I guess I'm
Well,
gonna
it
die.
really like I sort of hadn't really I hadn't really processed the amount of risk that gets added compared to Australia, because like the
Yeah,
US was the only place where I've actually felt somewhat worried about walking around,
yeah,
and it didn't really click for me until I saw a guy open carrying an AR-15. I was like,
yeah.
how can you get away with that? Oh wait, it's the US.
It's the U.S. Yep, yep, yeah. No, I honestly, though, if I were to see someone open carrying an AR, I would get out of there, dude. I wouldn't stick around. Uh,
You're allowed to though, right? Even if you have
um,
like good intentions, if it's fine to do, right?
I don't think so. Actually, I don't think that you're allowed to just open carry like that. Like, there's laws about like open carrying with it loaded.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you have like your
What is?
magazine with bullets in it,
But what if like so if you have the magazine in but it's not chambered, is that different?
yeah.
So are you allowed to do that?
By chambered, you mean like
Like
um,
one's ready to
loading it?
fire. Because you can
I
like
no,
load a mag
that's
without it
that
being
can't. I
ready to
don't think
fire,
that's
right?
allowed. Yeah, yeah, but I don't think having. I think having one chambered is the same as like they would treat that the same as having it loaded with the
Okay.
magazine.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So do you so most people do they just walk around. Wait, I don't understand why is concealed carry more encouraged than open carry?
Um. So so I would rather someone with who is a level-headed person who has been trained in firearms. Like, I would rather them have a concealed carry than an open carry because of the threat that it.
I guess
Uh,
it does sort of make you it does sort of make you have a second guess because it takes longer to get the gun out, right? Like if you're
yes, but
getting really
also it's
heated
it's
at
less
someone
of.
and you're just like I'm gonna shoot him because I'm angry, it sort of makes you have a second thought, right? If you gotta like take your jacket off to get it out.
Yeah, and also it's like, well, if you see someone open carrying like that, um,
it's gonna instill fear, I guess, right?
Well, actually, you have to have a license to conceal carry. So
Oh,
you
do
can
you?
open
Wait, so
carry, but
when? So what's the times that you can? So anyone can own a gun, but you need
no.
to.
So it depends on the state,
Oh, okay. So it is actually more
right?
strict than I thought.
Yeah. So Chicago actually has the most strict gun laws in the country, but they
Right.
have the highest murder rates. Um, and it's not just guns. Like there's lots of things that go into that, but like you know, um, Chicago has high rates of poverty, and where you have poverty, um, you have drugs, you have unstable family units, you have
Mm.
um, crime, and that those are just all factors that play into poverty.
Right.
Um, because you see that in rural parts of the country. So I don't know. I don't know if like uh well in rural parts of the country where you don't have as many people, you still kind of see like crime, you still see drug use, you still see all these things that you see with poverty. So it's never really um you can trace it back to poverty. And so Chicago has really high poverty rates. They also have really like high criminal activity, and so that's and also like they have the strictest gun laws, but that's for some reason that's not preventing. For some reason, they still have the highest
Right. So
assault
they're
rates with a
trying to
weapon.
do something about it, but they're just having no luck.
Yeah, yeah, they're trying, but it's not really working out for them.
Oh
um, yeah, dude, I could never live in Chicago. You could not pay me to live in Chicago.
you live so close, like an hour drive, right? Maybe more.
No, so right now I'm actually let me pull up the map. I'm actually in Tennessee, so
Oh, okay.
my yeah,
At
so
least
my
you're not bordering them, so you're safe, sort of.
oh yeah, no, I'm far.
Do
I'm
you
pretty
do you
far,
have any
but
border
I'm
checkpoints between states, or does it just say a sign that says "Welcome to Tennessee"?
it's literally just a sign that says "Welcome to Tennessee." So I could drive from Maine, which is in the top.
Yeah, yeah.
I almost said top right.
The
It's in
most
the northeast,
northeastern. Yeah.
and I could drive to California with zero checkpoints.
Right.
Um, the only states in my experience where you would have checkpoints is where you're flying in. So like Alaska or um, you know Hawaii.
Yeah, because you have to
Those are the
fly
only
or
two
like
ones.
get a boat to get there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes
yeah.
sense. How's your like? I know you have a big like importing drug import issue there. What's that like?
Yeah. So, you know, let's see. It's a huge, complicated issue, uh, especially with Mexico, um, in the
Yeah.
border that we share with Mexico.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Did Donald's wall ever get fully built?
no, it did not. No,
Uh,
it It did not. And
I saw an
you know,
image
person
of like what the wall was supposed to be, and isn't it just posts in the ground?
it's like metal, like large metal beams, and you know they're super thin apart, so there's not really much space you could do to squeeze through.
Ah, okay. So it is like it is
But
actually stopping people.
it is um
Do you
you
think the
know,
drug problem would have been like more fixed if the wall did get fully built?
I really don't know, because I think that um whoever is running the drug cartels, they have had lots of time to get really creative with how they import drugs.
Yeah, right.
And I think that a wall is probably too simplistic, um,
Yeah,
because
yeah, that would make sense. You already had. Do you not already have a wall lining the entire border,
no,
or like
no.
at least a fence or something?
Um, I think that there's spots where there is no fence. There is no
Oh wow! So it
real,
really in the whole development of the United States, you have like Canada. I can understand they're probably more chill, but in
yeah,
Mexico, that's even a smaller like surface area to
right.
Canada, and you still haven't like, cause like Australia, obviously we're an island, so we don't
Uh-huh.
have this issue. But
Right.
I just would have thought it wouldn't take that long to construct like just a fence or something to stop people walking in.
Right. Say it's like, say if Australia shared a border with India or with Kenya and Somal oh, you know, Mexico is not Somalia, but you know, you have the same kind of issues in Mexico that you do
Mm.
in Somalia. But it's like if you shared a border with Somalia, you know, you would have people who are trying to find better lives, but you would also have people who see it as an opportunity to, um, you know, ha- commit crime for personal gain.
Yeah,
So, like
yeah, yeah, right.
drug distribution, you know, maybe expanding their cartels, like, you know, territory. And, you know, I, I think that I would not blame any country for having a secure border for any reason, because
It makes a lot of
you know
sense, right?
it
Like no
makes
matter
so
what
much
country
sense.
border it is between, like no matter how well allied they are, I would say it makes sense in every scenario. Like not close them off,
Absolutely.
but at least funnel everyone into a checkpoint or multiple checkpoints.
Yeah, and I think the answer to it really is, um, having a secure border, but also, um, putting, you know, making the immigration process easier, because some people it takes them decades to immigrate to the U.S.
Oh,
And
really?
so,
Wow.
yeah, so I had a girlfriend. She was from Brazil, and her dad got a job in the States, and they were able to immigrate very quickly because they were able to get green cards because of his
Get a
job.
work visa and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and so now they're citizens.
Oh,
Um,
excellent. Yeah.
yeah, so um, you know, there's uh, there's that, but not everybody has that opportunity. And so,
Yeah, right.
you know, everyone is also worried about like welfare and all that. How are we going to feed all these people? How are we going to do whatever? But I I don't know.
Australia,
The way I see it,
from what I
the
know,
way I
like
see sorry,
oh,
go ahead.
you go, sorry.
The way I see it is, you know, uh I'm gonna be a doctor because I want to help people, and not baseline, but it doesn't matter what kind of person comes to me. Like I'm gonna do my best to help them and go out of my way for them. And I think that if more people wanted to do that, um, I think that immigration would not be a huge problem. Because like
Right.
I'm working with a organization called the Bridge Refugee Center, and so it's like getting immigrants who are fleeing from like their countries because of violence or politics or whatever. It's like helping them get situated in the United States. And so it's like, if people like really cared enough to do that, like we would be able to, to handle this problem. But people are just living their lives, doing their own thing. And yeah.
Yeah. Well,
What were you going to say? Sorry.
that's very noble of you. Good on you, mate.
Yeah. Well, I'm just doing my thing, man.
Good on you. So is like most of the US is still like predominantly white, right?
It's about 65, I would say.
Right. Because
Yeah.
Australia, we take so many immigrants every year. We
Really?
So many people are migrating. Um, uh, the so like my younger brother is
Yeah.
in sixth grade,
Okay.
and he's um he's in like the gifted and talented class, but
Cool.
there's only in the 30 students there, there's only one other white kid.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so everyone else is primarily Indian, Chinese, or some other ethnicity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I don't.
it's just
Go ahead.
it's there's so many more people coming in. Like we every year we take so many immigrants, and that's good because it drives our economy. We don't have many people here to begin with, so but it's quickly becoming a very diverse and multicultural place.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I think that's good. I think that the U.S. could do with more of that, and um, people don't like change. They're always going to be resistant to change, but I think that's a good change. Um, but anyway, it's 11:30 for me. I have
Oh no,
a
that's
long day
yeah. You
tomorrow.
definitely need to go. That's fine. It's been excellent talking to you, mate. You seem like a
Yeah,
really
dude.
great guy. Thanks for the chat. This has been really
Yeah, man.
good.
We should play some games in the future.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you're right.
maybe not Catan, but
We'll
I'm sure
see.
we could find
Yeah,
something.
yeah. All right. Well, enjoy your sleeping, mate.
Oh,
I'll
I
see you
will, man.
later.
All right. Have a good one, Bo.
And you, mate. See ya.
Bye.